So that ending of episode 3 with Miss Cobel just like taking off for Salt's Neck. We finally get to go there in episode 8.
Yeah.
And this deep dive, we're going to unpack so much about Miss Cobel, you know, her past and what all this means for Mark and all the severed employees.
But yeah, this episode is a huge one. Like game changer kind of stuff. We get a ton of backstory for Harmony Cobel.
Okay.
And it really like flips everything we thought we knew about her, her character, what she wants. It's big.
Salt's Neck, first impression. It's so different from the Lumon HQ, right? It's so sleek and modern, that building.
And then Salt's Neck.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like you've stepped into a completely different world. You go from this like sterile, almost futuristic corporate space to Salt's Neck is rundown, bleak.
Yeah.
And it's not just any town. This was a Lumon company town.
Right.
So much history there. Corporate neglect. You really feel that sense of despair.
The ether addiction, that was rough. Did that feel like a direct consequence of Lumon being there to you, even if they don't say it outright?
Nope.
It does make you think a lot about the responsibility of these huge corporations and what happens long term because of things Lumon does.
Yeah.
Like, did they bring this stuff in, get everyone hooked, and then just abandon them?
I don't know. That's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
So then we have Harmony and Hampton, you know, her driver. There's definitely some tension there. And this feeling that they've got a past, you know.
Yeah.
Some shared history.
What's really interesting about that is how far back it goes. They were childhood friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they both worked in Lunon's factory back in Salt's Neck as kids.
Oh, wow.
And you even get these little hints that maybe there was something romantic between them back then.
And also some resentment, like maybe they both blame each other for something that happened way back.
It's a really fascinating dynamic. It adds so much to Harmony. Like, on the surface, she's this, you know, cold corporate climber. But then we get these glimpses of her personal life, her relationships. And it's like, oh, there's way more to her than we thought.
Speaking of complicated, can we talk about Sissy Cobel? Harmony's aunt. Wow. She's like intense, right? Like Kier's principles, but like a walking, talking embodiment of them.
Ceci's the one who raised Harmony after her mom died.
Yeah.
And she was really strict. I mean, almost fanatical about Kier and his teachings. She even made Harmony work in that Lumon factory as a kid.
That's wild.
Especially given where Harmony ends up, right? At the top of that same company.
It makes you wonder, did Harmony choose this whole career path because of how she grew up? Like, was it a rebellion against her aunt's super strict beliefs?
That's a good point. Or maybe it's more complicated than that. Like, maybe she internalized some of Sissy's beliefs, even if she doesn't show them the same way. I mean, look what she did. She invented the severance procedure. Like, this technology that changes what it means to be human at a fundamental level. And that's not that different from what Kier was all about, right? Transcending the limits of the physical self.
That's true. And that breathing tube Harmony has. Her mother's, right. And we find out she hated Lumon. What's up with that?
That detail, that's a big one. It ties into this theme we keep seeing, like this whole history of Lumon and their messed up technologies, stuff that might actually be harmful, like the whole feeding tube thing they mentioned in the Lexington letter.
Oh, right. The scandal, right, where that newspaper tried to expose them and got shut down.
Exactly. So you got to wonder, did something similar happen with Harmony's mother? Is that why she hated Lumon so much?
Wow.
It definitely could be. And if it is, then it changes how we see Harmony and her motives. Is she protecting Lumon because she really believes in their mission?
Yeah.
Or is it more about trying to make up for what happened in the past, maybe something involving her own mom?
Okay, get ready for this. This is where things get really crazy. This episode, it comes out that Harmony invented the severance procedure.
Right.
Not Jame Eagan. And she did it when she was just a girl.
I know, right? It changes everything. The whole way we see Harmony, her relationship with Lumon, it's all different now. She's not just some executive. She's the one who created the technology that this whole company is built on.
But it also makes you question, was she really all in on Kier and his teachings? Or was that all just a way to get ahead, you know, to get the Eagans to trust her and climb the ladder at Lumon?
It goes to the core of who she is. Is she a true believer, a master manipulator? Or is it maybe some mix of both?
And the fact that they threatened her, that if she ever told anyone it was her who invented Severance, she'd be banished.
Yeah.
That just shows you how much control the Eagans have over Lumon and what they'll do to keep their secrets.
Totally.
And it also makes everything way more dangerous now. Harmony, she's got this huge amount of power. She knows how Severance works and maybe even how to reverse it. But if she uses that against Lumon...
It's a huge risk.
Yeah. And then at the end, when she runs from Sissy's house and that Lumon car shows up...
Oh, yeah.
Talk about tension.
It's like a classic chase scene, but the stakes are so much higher.
Totally.
Harmony's on the run.
Right.
And she's carrying this huge secret that could, like, destroy Lumon.
Then she talks to Devon on the phone and finds out that Mark has started reintegration. That's like a bomb about to go off. I mean, that's what makes Harmony decide to maybe turn against Lumon, right?
It seems that way.
She knows Mark is in danger, and it's like in a split second, she decides she's going to help him, even if it means risking everything she's worked for. So what's her main motivation?
Right. Is it that she actually cares about Mark? Is it guilt about what Lumon has done? Maybe she wants revenge on the Eagans? Or, like, all of the above.
Yeah.
We need to look closer at what happens in the rest of the episode and what Harmony does to figure that out.
That's a real head scratcher. You mentioned Harmony maybe, like trying to atone for something. Like, what happened there?
Well, think about it. Her mother hated Lumon. And Harmony's still carrying that breathing tube around.
Right.
And then there's all this stuff about Lumon tech that could be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, like those feeding tubes from the Lexington letter. Makes you think, maybe Harmony's mother was hurt because of something Lumon did. Maybe even because of one of their inventions.
Whoa. So you're thinking maybe Harmony didn't climb the ranks at Lumon just out of ambition?
Maybe, yeah.
Like maybe she wanted to get close to find out what really happened.
Right.
And maybe expose them from the inside.
That could be it. And that would add a whole other, like, tragic layer to her character.
Yeah.
Imagine, you know, knowing that the company you work for did something terrible that hurt your family and carrying that around with you.
It would explain why she was so devoted to Kier. Maybe she thought if she follows his teachings, it would make up for what she's doing at Lumon.
Maybe. But then that makes her decision to help Mark even bigger, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's risking everything, her job, her safety, maybe even her life, to expose Lumon, to undo the very things she created.
It's almost like she's saying, okay, I screwed up, but I can at least try to fix things?
Exactly. And that brings up a really important question. How much does Harmony actually know about reversing Severance?
Right.
They don't tell us outright in the show, but they hint at it a lot, that since she invented it, she might know how to undo it too.
And that's what makes it so intense. Like, we have no clue what she's going to do.
Right.
Is she going to try to get Mark out of Lumon? Maybe even desever him? Or is it something bigger? Like, she's going to take down the whole Severance program.
And what about Gemma?
Yeah.
If Harmony knows how to reverse Severance, then Gemma might get all her memories back.
Oh.
And she and Mark could, like, really be together again.
That would be amazing to see them reconnect, you know, outside of Lumon, away from all the manipulation and control.
Totally. But we can't forget about the risks.
Yeah.
If Harmony goes up against Lumon, they're going to come after her with everything they've got.
Oh, for sure.
The Eagans are not going to let their secrets get out, especially not something like reversing Severance. That could ruin them.
It's like this crazy game of chess.
Yes.
And Harmony's making moves that we don't understand yet. It's exciting and scary at the same time.
It is. And it comes back to that question that's at the heart of the whole show. What does identity even mean when you can split your consciousness like that?
Right.
Can your innie and outie selves ever really be whole again? Or are they always going to be separate?
That question, it goes beyond the show, you know? In the real world, technology is changing so fast. The line between who we are online and who we are in person, it's getting blurry. How do we stay whole when our identities can be split up and messed with like that?
It's something we all got to think about. And that's what I love about Severance. It takes these huge philosophical questions and puts them into this exciting story that keeps you hooked.
Totally. So what do you think our listeners should take away from this episode? Especially with this huge reveal about Harmony.
I think the big takeaway is don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
We might think we know a character, their motives, what they believe in.
Right.
And then something like this happens.
Yeah.
It changes your whole perspective. And you got to rethink everything you thought you knew.
It's like the rug gets pulled out from under you, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It keeps you guessing, and it makes the story so much better in the end.
Yeah, it makes you realize that everyone on Severance, like even the people who seem totally dedicated to Lumon, they could have all these internal struggles going on and secret motives.
Exactly. It makes you think about Irving and Bert, too. You know, that whole forbidden romance they've got going on.
Right?
That's another example of people pushing back against Lumon's control.
It's such a powerful thing, that need to connect with someone, even with all these obstacles in their way. They could lose their jobs, their severance, maybe even their memories just to be together.
Yeah. It's like they're longing for something more, something real outside of Lumon and that world they've built. They want real connection, love, something authentic.
And then Irving finds that map in his Audi apartment,
Oh, yeah.
the one that seems to lead to the Black Clock, I think it was called. Right.
Right. That feels like a major clue. But what does it all mean?
That map could be huge. It might unlock a whole new part of the show's story. Is it a real place? A symbol? Some kind of code? It feels connected to something bigger than just Irving.
Maybe it's about Lumen's true purpose, something even darker than we can imagine. Or maybe it's related to Kier's teachings, but in a way we haven't figured out yet.
There's so many possibilities. That's why we can't stop watching. Severance is so good at building this world where every little thing, every object, every line, it could be a clue to the bigger mystery.
It's like we're all detectives, along with the characters, trying to solve this puzzle.
Exactly. And the show rewards you for paying attention. You discover things, uncover hidden meanings, and it makes watching so much more satisfying.
It's not just sitting back and being entertained. You have to actively engage with the story and what it's trying to say.
For sure. And as we get close to the end of the season, the stakes are so high. What Harmony does, it could have a ripple effect. Not just on Mark and the severed workers, but maybe on all of Lumon. Maybe even the future of severance technology itself.
It's almost too much to think about. What do you think will happen? Adding predictions.
Honestly, I have no idea. And that's what's so great about this show. You can't predict it. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it leaves you wanting more. But one thing is for sure, we're in for a wild ride, and I can't wait to see how it all ends.
To all our listeners out there, what are your thoughts? What do you think Harmony will do next, and what's the deal with the Black Clock? Will Mark and Gemma ever really be together again? Let us know your theories, what you've noticed, your craziest ideas, because with Severance, anything is possible. Until next time, keep thinking about all this, both your innie and outie minds, and remember, what happens on the severed floor doesn't always stay on the severed floor.